Alright, time to get started. So I believe, yeah, we get a couple of extra things around here. These are assemblers, which I do want to keep around. There's my ship reactor. That's another assembler. Here's my Rex. This is what I'm looking for right here. These little Rex. Alright. I will take my 2 iron for now. But, oh, so all of these have little inventories. Okay. I'll just work on cleaning up the area here a little bit. Not sure if these actually give me anything, but... Oh, they do. Look at that. I think it's probably... So it looks like this one actually contains something. Looks like the other ones are more probabilistic, which is fine. Yeah, it looks like it's just a random probability to get a couple of very basic things, so... Oh, you know what I do want to do? There we go. Much better. This is a chest capsule. We can just pick these up. We want to keep the reactor and the assemblers, but I'm happy with removing everything else just to start beautifying the landscape here, which obviously is eventually going to be concrete from coast to coast. Looks like we also start with some med packs as well. Minus 50 poison. Interesting. So it applies a poison effect that ticks for negative 50 HP. Interesting. Ah! Here's our shelter. Very nice. I was wondering where that was. So our shelter is this neat thing that sort of serves as a spawn point. It's got a nice big inventory. So we're going to stick this right here. Also has got some power associated with it, but that the storage space is big money here. Unfortunately, we can't go inside. Is there a way to increase light? Yes, by me building lights. Which is just something that I have to eventually do here. So. This one is actually making me mine it. Interesting. Yeah. And thankfully the lights research is pretty soon here. So I'm comfortable with the Krastorio side of things, but I am not with the space exploration. So this is going to be interesting for me as well as you. But yeah, you're right. It's going to be a little dark here for a while. The wonderful experience of chopping down trees at the beginning. We do want to make sure that we don't damage this reactor here. It's not a whole ton of power. It's 240 kilowatts. And this guy puts out 120 kilowatts. So it's really, you know, 2 of these. So it's quite useful. And I think in the broad sense about what I'm, you know, thinking about for this factory design, it's going to be less of I'm going to sit down and calculate everything to begin with, but it's probably going to be a little bit more of a build as needed. Because especially Krastorio, but also Space Exploration, has those cyclic recipes where, you know, you put something in and you get an extra product, but there's some kind of resource that's cycling as a catalyst. And that makes it very, very difficult to calculate recipes and exact ratios, because pretty much any factory planner that you could use, like Hellmod, just freaks out when you try and do stuff like that. So yeah, and you're very right. That's the mark of a good survival game, is that you have to punch trees. I would agree with that. Now, one of the reasons why this map is so sweet is that if you look at the starting area, we've got a little patch of copper, a little patch of stone, a little patch of iron, and a little patch of coal right wedged in between the two, which is kind of hard to see because of the terrain here. I don't know what button I keep accidentally hitting, but the other good news is that we've got much bigger patches of the 4 basic resources. We got some mineral water down there, which we can't use yet, but this is really the ideal starting, because we just got all 3 right here. So we can set up a little intermediary crafting system right around up here. But the good news is that we also have these damaged assemblers. So can I start by making power poles? I cannot make power poles yet. I do want to make these though. So I'm gonna start by mining some iron. Fed with a little bit of wood. Hello. And we're also going to work on clearing out this middle area here, because this is where the bulk of the industry is going to happen for the starter. And then in a second here, I'm going to try and start taking a look at what technologies we have available to us right at the beginning here. So I'm not quite sure if space exploration changes anything about the early game, like Krastorio does. Hello? There we go. Got some purple palm trees. Very nice. Alien biomes. I also installed all of the other mods that space exploration recommended go along with it. So, I missed a small shipwreck. Look at that. Can't get that one. That's a shame. Alright. Yes. That would be a good thing to do. Oops. We're doing fine for now. Humble beginnings. 30 and 10. Not bad. Alright, so we've got our 3 little patches here. I want to start building some burner drills. I will start crafting some furnaces, because we've got plenty of stone from ripping up the Stonehenge that seems to have formed right by our resource patches here. But for the time being, I think we're fine. Interesting to note that it looks like the icons have changed since the last time that I played Krastorio. Because the recipe here actually shows the iron ore, which is not something I think that I had seen before. So, yeah, and apologies, it's going to be a little dark here until I get some lights up and running. But, it is what it is. Alright, while you're going on this... It does pause while I'm in the text screen, so we got to do this kind of fast. Iron pickaxe, definitely big. We also want power distribution, which I'm going to need to find here. Interesting. My lights are all the way down here, which require a number of things. My goodness. All right, well, we're going to start going for the iron pickaxe there. For you, process fuel. It's interesting that this is already unlocked. So this requires wood and copper cables. So we're going to need to be front-loaded on the copper here. But for the time being, humble beginnings with the iron. It's fine. You require a motor to begin with. Okay. Alright, so this is AAI industry that's been changing some of the way that this works. Interesting. We're also going to need stone bricks for a burner, which I did not realize was a thing. So, get not quite where I wanted these. That'll be fine for now. And let's get that started. Not quite full on the last one there, but we'll be okay. Oops. Does research work in Krastorio? Do you not have to feed research labs? I do, but they use these neat things called tech cards instead of science flasks. So we have an equivalent to science flasks, but they're just sort of a different kind of thing. So they have some other rules that they play by, but that's the majority of it. And there's a massive number of tech cards compared to, I think there's like 7 flasks in the base game. And with tech cards, there's, so we start with the basic one, then we get automation, then logistic, then chemical, then production and utility, and then the production and utility continue on, and we unlock a whole new set of tech cards that we need to use. So advanced cards, there's some other ones down here. I'm not sure where they all went. Here we go, singularity cards. And then it appears, it looks like Space Exploration is adding costs for science packs as well, which seems to be something a little bit independent. No worries, it's good to see you. Alright. Got some stone bricks to start out with here, which means that we can make plenty of these. The intermediate stage of making motors was not something that I had previously realized. So we're also going to want to start grabbing some copper here, but I really just want to get the iron and coal production up here. So for starters, we just want to make sure that we're not overlapping here with the iron. We can just seed this with some coal there. And we're just going to be a little bit conservative with this for the time being. Did that not work? Huh. Interesting. There we go. Let's start grabbing more coal here, and we've got 3 burner inserters, which we are missing more bricks for. So also want to get the copper set up here. Just going to start with fairly modest on all of these things, just a couple on each. I think I put 4 in there, but that's okay. And we are well on our way. So what are the things that I'm going to want to start on here? Probably the iron pick, and then probably logistics next, the pack, and we'll call that good for now. So we want to be looking at tech cards, which are right here. Wood and copper. So while this stuff is going here, I'm going to grab 4 more of these guys to continue our coal collection here. I'm also going to have to work on ripping up some trees here. Now, I'm interested because I don't immediately see power poles. I would like to know when I get the power poles. Add on power pole. Okay, that looks very intense. Pole. Electricity. Okay. What are the prereqs for this? Alright, so this actually... So we're going to need advanced cards, or automation cards, rather, before we can even get to power poles, which is kind of interesting. Burner turbine generator. Burner turbine generator. Huh. Interesting. There's certainly going to be a learning curve associated with this, but I'm here for it. It also seems that we've landed in this sort of a volcanic area, which is super neat. I wonder if there's going to be any way to do like biome-locked geothermal or something like that. I'm excited. Clear out these strange bulbous alien trees. So, the fact that power poles are so far away leads me to believe that I won't be able to actually use assemblers for a while. So my question is, basic automation gives me a burner assembling machine. Ah, yes. Burner assembling machine. What a world. Alright, we're going to leave that for now. Also get these 4 more down here, which I slightly goofed, but I think is going to be okay. Yes, perfect. We should be starting to get some iron here. You guys are not running. Ah, you're just running perfectly. I see. Start with copper, and let's begin. Okay, so how do we research if we are unable to power things? That is my question. How do I actually research things? Used my labs for research, yes. Burner lab, ah, I see. This is quite silly. Burner labs. Let's give everything a little bit of coal, top it off. Everything runs on coal, yes. So we're gonna need a lot of it, which is good because normally I sort of skimp on the coal to begin with, so I will make sure not to do that. Okay. So what I'm quickly learning here is that I need many of these. Ah, interesting. That would be why these are not working, because it appears that I still have coal interspersed with all of these things. That's kind of funny. I didn't see that. Alright, what do you got? Is there a random... Really? Oops. Oh, it's just... They're like colliding with each other. That's so weird. Alright, this is what we're looking at for now then, I guess. I was like, why are these furnaces not actually working? It's because they were also half mining coal. We should be fine, though. Alright, so coal production continues. Very good. Copper production continues. And we should be just about ready to start working on something else. Namely, burner labs. So. Yes, researching science with coal. Wonderful. So, for starters, we need our... No, that's not what I wanted. We have 30, or excuse me, 25, 10, and 10, which is 45. And we can currently make 35. We're missing wood. So let's go chop more trees. As is tradition. Oop. There we go. Not quite enough to make 10 more, but we can continue. Yeah, that's one of my worries, is that we're in a little bit of a sparsely forested area. We're in a very well stoned area, one could say. So, might not need to do an actual stone deposit here for a while. Plus, it's actually quite helpful because that's the one that's the farthest away from me at this point. So, yeah, no, certainly wood is much, much more important. It's used as a reagent in a number of things, and at some point I'm going to have a massive bank of greenhouses that are making me wood so that I can keep my circuit board production topped off. That's the reason that I like Krastorio so much, is that it's, you know, it approximates Bob's, but it's not as soul-crushing. At least not in my opinion. However, I'm now finding out that it seems that AAI industry has slightly changed the way that some of these things work, so that remains yet to be seen. I did not mean to give you that much. Oh, crap. You know, I forgot that each one of these crafts actually makes 5 of these cards. So we are actually going to be set for quite some time here. That's 35, 45. There we go. But we can start, once we get this next craft here, and I can split them evenly, on our research. I bet you these are going to be very slow. Efficiency 90%. Oops. Efficiency 90% compared to research labs. Research speed 1. Research speed 1. Okay, so there's actually not a slowdown per se, even though it appears to be that way. It's just that looks like it only takes 90% of the fuel that's needed, so be that as it may. Yes, fuel pollution 250%. So per each unit of energy that it gives, it's, you know, creating much more pollution. So we can, if you look at this tooltip here, you can see that there's a number of different fuels that we can use. So I also see some red looking stuff, which makes me think that I'm actually able to mine these. So I wonder if we look for geothermal, if anything comes up. Nope. Maybe at some point I get to start digging up some red rocks. Thermal radiator. I don't see any red rocks. Material catalog. Man, some of this stuff looks so freaking cool. I'm really excited. Continue topping off our humble copper deposits here. And as stated beforehand, it looks like this is going to be a very heavy coal base for a while, so just going to continue setting up the burner worm. And you've gotten some of the way done with this. It's very slow. Very, very slow. This one started beforehand, and you know, it's probably honestly worth my time to make 2 more of these just because they're so slow. Yeah. Yep, autosave, thank you. And we have to continue looking for some coal to supply here. Thinking about it now, I might have actually been a little foolish to use my wood for fuel there, and I didn't realize that it was such a premium. So it shall be. I just really am hoping to be able to use these here soon. Crafting speed 0.25. Maybe I don't. Crafting speed 0.5. Ah! So in fact, with the changes that AAI Industry makes, these are not even worth my time. So this will be nice. But it appears that these are not actually going to be worth it, because they've got a crafting speed of 0.25, whereas my basic automation gives me a crafting speed of 0.5 exactly. So I've got a bank of them here. I'm actually just going to rip this one up. So probably a good idea. Let's grab some of this stuff here. Just bind that to the hotbar. So I do want to use my inventory here to get a little bit smaller divisions of it so that I can grab it. Are you doing the same thing as before? No, you're working. Okay. We'll continue bringing in the copper here. Almost to our iron pickaxe. So this is going to be very slow going for a while, it looks like. But in the meantime, we'll get a little bit of a stone deposit here set up as well. Very nice. Alright, well, haha! Wow, why did that take so long? That actually took so much longer. This one is already almost done. That's kind of crazy. I guess the pickaxe one was significantly more involved. Yeah, these are 10 by 10, and I think the other one was 25 by 30. So, I mean, it makes sense. Just give these guys a couple each to get them started. Continue up. There is a good chunk of gold. I'm also going to start... Okay. Making some more of these. Now, in the meantime, while things are going on here, we're going to do a little bit of exploring to the north. And see what we get. However, the cards are going to be running out here, so... Hopefully we make it to Automation Core. I think we will. And there we go. Automation Core is done. So for the future, let's go for the automation next, and then probably our advanced tech cards, which is going to open up a whole ton of options, namely electricity. So that's really what we're going to be looking for here. Okie dokie. Well, we'll look forward to that.